Hello and welcome. So today what I wanted to do was a quick little pick a card reading. This is going to be my first one ever, so please do let me know which group you picked and if anything resonates you in the comments, so that way I can hopefully learn and improve my work. Alright, so what I have for you today, group 1 is going to be malachite, group 2 is going to be bismuth, and then group 3 is going to be ragonite. So go ahead and pick whichever pile you gravitate to the most, and I will put the timestamps in the description so that you can jump to the time slot for the pile that you picked. Okay, group number 1. So your stone today is going to be malachite, which is a beautiful green or deep green stone. And malachite is used for balance, abundance, manifestation, helping to set intentions. It's also protective and can be used for healing. And it's a stone of transformation. The cards that we have for you today. First is the Two of Coins in reverse. And then we have the Hierophant, also in reverse. And then the Knight of Wands. So this deck is Tarot of the Divine. It's a really beautiful deck. I absolutely love the artwork on this one. And for this deck specifically, each card represents a folktale, legend, or myth from various cultures around the world and throughout history. So for the Two of Coins, this card normally represents balance. So in this case, it's saying that there's a sense that things are unbalanced for you. Maybe you're in a state of overwhelm. And coins in general tends to deal with work and prosperity, abundance, and financial issues. So I'm getting the sense that you're feeling a little unbalanced with perhaps your job or with your financial issues. And then with the Hierophant, especially in reverse, tends to represent tradition and legacy. And what I'm getting from the reversed Hierophant in this reading is I'm getting the sense that you're feeling like you're drifting, and perhaps even like you feel like maybe you don't know where you come from in a way. And this could be family. This could also be just maybe needing to understand yourself a little bit better. But these prior two cards where you're feeling maybe unbalanced and adrift, in the Knight of Wands, we have a really beautiful energy that is adventure and passion. It's someone who's really excited and has a lot of zest for life. And there can be a little bit of recklessness with this, but that's perfectly okay, because sometimes we're just in that position of our lives where we need to move forward with reckless abandon. And I feel like that's what might clear this energy for you, is break free of the bonds you feel that are kind of holding you in a pattern. And especially with your malachite, that being the stone of transformation, it feels like you're in a space that you are not at all comfortable in, and the universe is saying that you should break free from it. So, and this is the Prism Oracle. I absolutely love these cards. They're really beautiful as well. So let's go ahead and draw a couple of these for you and see what comes out of the deck. Okay, that one's out. Let's get you a couple more cards here. What other cards do you have for group 1? What messages do you have? Okay, this one's out. Are there any more cards for group 1? Any more messages through color? That's always a good sign. My apologies for my ring light. Okay, so this is terrific. What we've pulled out of the deck for you here, so we have Determination. That is awful. Hang on. There we go. So we have Determination, Growth, and Success. So this again, I feel, is pointing to breaking kind of the stasis that you're in. Like, what I'm getting a sense of is that you've been feeling kind of stagnant. You've been feeling like things aren't happening the way you want them to, or things aren't moving for you, and you're feeling just kind of really stuck. But what we have coming for you is this beautiful energy, your determination, your ability to grow, and you will find success. So, love these color cards. They really bring through positive energy and insight. So hopefully these resonate for you. And then I also wanted to draw for you. So this is the Shadow Mirror deck. This is actually a deck that I designed myself. And I designed it to very specifically, it's all entirely black and white like this. I designed it to really tap into the psyche, to tap into the subconscious. So this is a deck that as I draw cards, the imagery, I want you to focus on it and see what that brings up for you, what it reminds you of, what makes you think about, because that's really going to be speaking to your subconscious and showing you what it is that you need to understand from this reading. So let's see, what do we have for group 1 from this deck? Okay. Alright guys, so we have 8 of Swords in reverse, 8 of Pentacles in reverse, and 6 of Cups in reverse. In the 8 of Swords reversed, what I'm hearing or the message that I'm hearing for you is that you're experiencing a lot of negative self-talk right now, and that's a pattern that you want to try to work on breaking. And you can do that through meditation, through self-love works, through shadow work, even a lot of times through childhood trauma, inner child work. That can help you to start kind of break those patterns. This card also speaks to limiting beliefs, which is kind of those ideas we have about ourselves or about the way the world works that keeps us from truly experiencing or reaching for our potential. So this card is definitely saying to turn inward, to find a way to locate and kind of shatter those limiting beliefs that you might have. And then with the 8 of Pentacles, this card to me shows that you're maybe trying to be too perfect at the things that you're working at, and you're holding yourself to too high of a standard. Whereas what the universe really wants to tell you and really wants you to do when you see this card, the 8 of Pentacles, the universe wants you to let what you've done be good enough and just put it out there. Go ahead and move forward, put in your best effort, and don't feel like it has to be perfect, because none of us are perfect, none of us will ever be perfect, so perfection should never be the goal. The goal should always be to do your best and put it out in the world. And that does require some bravery, and the universe is definitely asking you to be brave. And that your malachite is going to help with that as well, because malachite is a confidence boosting stone. Okay, and then with 6 of Cups, this, when it's upright, is normally a very playful card, which is why I included the little fishes jumping in and out of the cups and little stars in the background. And when this shows up in reverse, it's suggesting that you've maybe gotten a little too far away from your playful side. Even, again, it's mentioning your inner child. And that, again, references back to, patterns that are maybe holding over from your childhood that are really kind of keeping you locked down a bit and keeping you from being able to really step into your full potential and to really live your truth. So this card, whenever it comes up, I would, especially in reverse, I would say take some time to just be playful. find an activity that reminds you of your childhood and is fun for you. You know, it could be something like video games, it could be coloring, anything that just kind of takes your mind off of all the rest of the situation that's happening for you and lets you just kind of flow back into that childhood mindset and flow back into that childhood state. And that's going to help you when you want to get into clearing blockages from your childhood, because if you can kind of go into that inner child mindset, that'll help you to find the things that you need to clear with the Eight of Swords in reverse. Okay, now I want to pull out an animal guide for you guys. So let's find the animal guide for group 1. See what card resonates for you all. Let's see what message your animal guide has for you. Oh, looks like we got a taker here. All right. So we have the chameleon, and interesting. So the chameleon speaks to adaptation, but it also speaks to blending in a sense. And, you know, while you're working on these other issues that you've got on your plate, it can be a really good idea to take a step back, maybe even let someone else take the wheel for a while. And that can be a work situation, that can be in relationships, that can be in a lot of different situations. But just kind of take time to be more chill with yourself and to blend in a little more and maybe let go of control of the situation, just so you can kind of heal and focus on yourself for a while. Don't worry as much about what's going on out there. Take some time to just be you. Okay. And then one more deck I have that I want to pull a card for you guys from. This is Keepers of the Light, so we're going to get your light worker icon, I guess you would call it. I really love this deck. The artwork is stunningly beautiful, and the messages in it are amazing too. So let's see which light worker wants to work with group 1 today. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and split the deck. And so you guys have the Shekinah, and this card is absolutely gorgeous. And what she is telling you is to honor your sacred self, and she wants you to unleash your spirit, release your gifts, and that again is going to come back to doing the work on your limiting beliefs. Once you clear those, you will be able to fly free. You will be able to really step into your true self and be able to find the playfulness that you're missing in life. And this card also says to dance to the sacred rhythm of life. And I think that's so important, even if it's home, alone, whenever you have the opportunity, just put on some beautiful music and dance to it and just feel the vibes. And it's a really good way to kind of get in tune with your higher self, is to just really vibe out with music and dance around and really feel the universe. One last thing I have for you guys, this is just a little bit of a playful thing. So I have this little book of Catfulness, and I like to just do a reading where I flip to a random page and we'll see what the message is. So what we have for you today is this adorable little black and white cat. So reading this page, it says, "I changed my life when I changed my thinking. I am light, I am spirit, I am a wonderful, capable being." And that quote is attributed to Louise Hay. And this fits right in with everything else that's come up in your reading. It's showing that what you really need right now is take a step back and have a little bit of change of perspective. And, you know, try to dig in a little bit to, you know, who you are, and kind of dial it back and try to remember what your personality was like in childhood, and to see if perhaps there's some elements from that you can bring forward into the present that will help you to clear your blockages and to not feel like you're kind of just drifting, and not feel like things are all just up in the air and everything's in question. It can help you to really get grounded, to go back into your childhood and to draw out some positive memories, and to see what aspects of yourself might have gotten forgotten over time. So that is what I have for you today, Group 1. Thank you so much for joining in, and again, please do mention in the comments that you were with Group 1, and if this resonated for you, I would love to hear from you, and thank you again. Hello and welcome, Group 2. So today you chose the bismuth, which is one of my absolute favorite crystals. I love that it has these beautiful rainbow colors, and I also love the geometric look of it. It has such fascinating shapes and patterns. And what bismuth brings to us is energy and vitality. It helps with achieving your goals. It's a very organizationally geared stone. It aids with transformation and visualization. You can see it's got kind of almost like a digital age LCD screen kind of feel to it. And it can relieve feelings of being overwhelmed or isolated. So for your cards, what we have today is the Knight of Cups in reverse, the Two of Swords, and we have the Star also in reverse. And this deck is the Tarot of the Divine. I absolutely adore this deck. The artwork is so beautiful, and each card is representative of a different myth or folk tale from different cultures from all over the world and from all throughout our past. Okay, so the Knight of Cups in reverse has some somewhat intense energy. I'm seeing heartbreak and possibly some agitation or moodiness. And this can also speak to infidelity. So I'm wondering, perhaps Group 2, if you've either recently discovered an infidelity or if that's something that you've been wondering is going on. And so this card is somewhat speaking to that being on your mind right now. So then we go to the Two of Swords. Okay, so yeah, this feels like it's continuing the pattern because the Two of Swords speaks to being in a position where you have maybe a difficult decision to make. It can also refer to two diverging paths. So I'm getting the sense with these two cards combined that perhaps there may be a relationship that has been precarious for a while now, and you're maybe kind of coming to a point where you might need to walk away from this energy, and perhaps you're considering that, or perhaps you just got some information that is pushing you to that point. And I feel that the Two of Swords is really acknowledging for you that you do have this decision in front of you. Okay, and then to add to all of this energy, we have the Star in reverse, and the Star is really it's normally a card of hope, so when it's in reverse, that's speaking to kind of the opposite of that. And that could say that maybe you've been feeling despair, or maybe you've been feeling insecure. It could also be that maybe there were some hopes that you had that have recently been crushed, and you're feeling maybe really low from that. And I'm terribly sorry to hear that if that is the case for you. Let's see what other cards we can pull for you and maybe get some perspective on how this situation can resolve and improve for you. So this is the Prism Oracle deck. This is another really gorgeous deck, and it's got a lot of beautiful positive messages, so let's see what it has for you. So there's our first one. Okay, so we have movement, and I apologize if you can hear my cat crying. Nope, this one wants out too. Sweetness, yes. Alright, let's get one more card for you here. Let's see what the deck has to say. What else do we have for Group 2 here? Oop, okay. Disruption. Okay, so with this deck, it's kind of giving you a little bit of guidance here. So I want to actually speak about disruption first. The way that this card reads is it's speaking about disrupting where your mindset is now and shifting it maybe into a better space where you're looking at some more positive things to kind of lighten your mood and bring you back into a little bit of a healthier state of mind, or perhaps help you to just bring some positivity into your life, bring some sweetness into your life. This is a time when you really want to try to focus on good things that can take your mind off of the difficulties that you're feeling. And then we also have the movement card, which speaks to change and speaks to, and this can also refer to physical movement. So this could even be telling you to take a walk, especially with the color green, because that tells me maybe get out in nature, take a walk, clear your head, look at the trees, maybe talk to the trees if you're like me. I do that all the time. But just get out there and let nature give you some healing and give you some clarity and some peace of mind. The next deck I want to draw from for you, this is the Shadow Mirror deck, and I designed this deck myself specifically to tap into the subconscious mind. So as you look at the black and white artwork of these cards, it'll help to both send to your subconscious mind and draw out of your subconscious mind. So while you look at each card, pay attention to what feelings and thoughts come up for you. What does your mind drift to? And that'll help you to figure out what really you need to focus on in your current situation. So in addition to what I tell you about the cards, pay attention to those things, and that might help you to kind of understand what this reading really means for you. So let's go ahead and get you a few cards out of here. So what do we have to clarify for group 2 here about their situation? Ooh, okay. 4 of Swords. And I feel like the imagery on this card is really powerful and almost soothing in a way. So hopefully it feels that way for you. So let's get you a couple more cards here. Okay. These cards tend to be energetic. They like to bounce out of my hands. And I think we got more than 2, but that's okay. Let's see what we have. So 2 of Swords again, and this time it's in reverse. Then we have the King of Swords. There is so much sword energy here for you. And the 6 of Swords. Okay. So we have a lot of sword energy, movement, and decision. Okay. So first things first for you. The 4 of Swords is going to be all about time for yourself. And this, again, with the sweetness card that we pulled before, the disruption card to disrupt your mindset, the movement to kind of get you flowing into a different headspace. The 4 of Swords speaks to resting and relaxing, even meditating, and recuperating. So for whatever has been going on for you, it's extremely important that you take that time for yourself, take time to recover from it, take time to process, just take time to feel yourself in your body, less in your head, and really just try to connect yourself back down to the earth and feel grounded. And that's with the swords kind of being stabbed into the earth here. This is really a card where you want to get grounded and kind of bring this moon energy and the flow and really, really feel yourself grounded in your body again. So I feel like you've really been in your head over this and you felt confused. And that's with the organization shapes in this bismuth stone. This is really kind of speaks to grounding as well. And to a really solid foundation and to even a more logical state of mind. Since we had the 2 of Swords already show up, the fact that it's here again and now it's in reverse is giving even maybe a little bit of a different message. And this might actually be more timely that as you're watching this, I'm getting the sense that you're feeling confused and maybe even a little overloaded by the information, and that's completely understandable. You can just take it in and hold on to it and let it float to the back of your mind and process for you, and in time, your answers will come. You don't have to understand it all today. You don't have to have all the answers today. That's not at all required. You can let this just kind of process in the back of your mind and you'll get there. Just trust in time that you'll get there and you're going to be okay. Okay, so the King of Swords can, especially in reverse, bring with it a few different vibes. And I feel like what the King of Swords is telling you is you tend to be quiet and maybe not speak your mind. And I feel like this relates to the situation, that maybe there's something you're not saying, and it might even be something you're not allowing yourself to know. It might be that you're not speaking your truth to yourself, or it could be that you're not speaking your truth to somebody else. Maybe there's somebody that you haven't told how much they've hurt you, or it could also be that you have a truth that you know about that somebody needs to know and you haven't told them. But either way, I'm feeling a bit of maybe too much silence in this card. Maybe you're being a little too quiet, and maybe you need to open up more, even if it's just admitting something to yourself. Maybe it's even just your feelings about the situation. This card might be saying, hey, you need to let your feelings out and you need to really feel them. And that would make sense with a lot of the other things that we're seeing here, because processing your emotions comes back to both of these cards as well. So definitely take time to process your emotions, and don't be afraid to really feel your feelings. Don't be afraid to cry it out, because that will help you to get clarity and perspective. So the Six of Swords is also, it's kind of speaking back to these energies as well. The Six of Swords, again, we have the swords really grounded in the earth, but this time we have more of a full moon, or a sun even, kind of energy. And this card really speaks to transition and releasing baggage and kind of that emotional processing and allowing yourself to move forward from this situation. And that doesn't necessarily speak to a specific outcome, just that you're allowing yourself to get unstuck from the place that what you've been finding out or what you've been thinking might be possible. This speaks to kind of letting yourself get out of whatever rut that has put you in, because I feel like this situation really stuck you in a rut. It really kind of locked you down and you're feeling almost frozen. I'm definitely getting the sense that you are feeling frozen in this situation, and what we want to do is let you process and kind of move forward into some new space so that you can feel a little better. I have this lovely deck of animal spirit guides, and I want to go ahead and draw one of these for you, and let's get whatever message that your animal spirit guide has for you. Let's get a spirit guide for group 2. Actually, I'm feeling this card is just bouncing right out. Okay, so we have the meerkat, and the meerkat, they are community animals. And what the meerkat is saying is turn to your friends and family for support. You need people around you who support you, who love you, and will help you feel your way through this time. The meerkat wants that for you. It wants you to have that support around you. I also have another guide for you. This is the Keepers of the Light deck. Let's see who it is that... Oh, okay. So, the Miriam. So what the Miriam wants to tell you is that you need to forgive in order to heal. Now, keep in mind, this isn't necessarily saying you need to forgive someone who has wronged you, because we do all understand that that takes time. But what this is really speaking to, at least what I'm feeling from this, with you can see kind of the mirrored faces, where it's kind of the same person's multiple parts of this person. What I'm hearing is you need to forgive yourself, because I think that there's something in the situation you feel is your fault, and that's part of what's keeping you in this energy. So you need to address what you feel is your fault and process through that and forgive yourself for it, and maybe understand that the part of it that you think was your fault, maybe it's not what you think it is kind of what I'm hearing. Is it's possible that you think you did something that perhaps you didn't do, perhaps someone has manipulated you into thinking a certain way, So whatever it is you're feeling is your fault right now, take a step back and examine it and try to really understand where that idea came from, that you feel like everything is kind of sitting on your shoulders in this situation. And I can tell you, if this does refer to infidelity, it is never your fault if somebody else cheats on you. So please remember, we all make mistakes, but if somebody is being unfaithful in a relationship, that is their issue. And last but not least, I just want to lighten the mood a little bit for you. So I have this little book of catfulness, and it's really beautiful. It has adorable pictures of cats, and it has really uplifting sayings. So I like to just flip to a random page and see what it has to say to you. Okay, oh, look. It's the cat from the cover. I guess you really liked him. He is adorable. So, what this is saying is be mindful of your self-talk. It is a conversation with the universe, and that is accredited to David James Lees. And this, I feel, comes right back to what Miriam is saying to you, in that you're telling yourself something is your fault or that you caused something, and that may not be true, but also speak kindly to yourself at all times. Be gentle with yourself, and again, with the other cards, we're really getting that energy of you need to be kind to yourself right now, especially right now, because you have been through something hard or you're going through something hard. And this is the time to, wrap yourself in a fuzzy blanket and do the things that make you feel good, that make you feel better. Okay? So that is all I have for you today, Group 2. I hope that this resonated. Please feel free to let me know in the comments that you were Group 2 and if this resonated for you or not. And I truly, truly wish that you will find peace in your situation, whatever that may be. Trust that the universe has your back and that you are loved. Hello, Group 3. Alright, so today you chose the aragonite. And I just recently got this crystal. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And it's got such a fascinating shape. So aragonite activates and aligns your entire chakra column. It supports inner balance and mental clarity, and it boosts confidence and is great for self-healing. Okay, so let's see what cards we have for you today. So we have the Queen of Cups. A lot of reversals today. 8 of Coins. And the Page of Cups. And this deck is Tarot of the Divine. And the artwork of this deck is so beautiful. I absolutely love it. And each of the cards is represented with a fairy tale, or a myth, or a story from a culture of the past. So what we have for you in the Queen of Cups. Okay, so what I'm seeing from the Queen of Cups reversed is a sense that maybe you're feeling smothered, or maybe you're in a situation that's making you feel spiteful, or even taking you back to a really negative time in your childhood. That's what I'm feeling from this card. And this card definitely ties to mothers and motherhood. So I'm wondering if perhaps that's something that's rising for you at this time in your life, is either a present situation, either around your childhood with your mother or grandmother, or even with yourself as a mother. Perhaps you are in a difficult situation involving motherhood. And then with the 8 of Coins in reverse, this is speaking to maybe being in a rut or feeling like you're rushing through whatever work it is that you do. And that can be in the home or outside the home, or it can even be like hobbies and things like that. But you're not feeling like you really have the time to do well at something. And with these two together, I wonder if perhaps either you're in a situation where you are a mother and you're feeling stressed about it, like perhaps feelings are coming up like you feel insufficient. It can also be that there's something going on with a maternal figure in your life and you feel like either they are rushing you and not allowing you to come to things on your own terms, or it could be that you feel like you're not doing something for them well enough. And then we have the Page of Cups, and one thing I want to point out about this particular card in this particular deck, and I'm very curious if this resonates with you, but this adorable little white bunny represents the Chinese god of same-sex relationships. So I'm very curious if that relates to this in any way for you. If perhaps you were in one, or maybe there's a situation with somebody who's in one, or it can even be something that you've been exploring in yourself and just kind of trying to figure out. And this card also very much speaks to childhood. Truly, with this, I have to wonder if there's maybe even kind of a coming out of the closet energy here. Perhaps that's something that's on your mind. Perhaps you are part of the alphabet army. Me too. I'm in there as well. Maybe you're even trans and just trying to feel your way in dealing with a situation that is involved with. And if that is the case, I wish you all the strength in the world and all the peace in the world, because I know how challenging that kind of situation can be. So let's pull some more cards for you to get some clarification on this situation. So this is the Prism Oracle deck. I absolutely love this deck. It's just loaded with beautiful colors, which is kind of my thing. I love color. So let's get a few cards out of this deck for you to see what it has to say about your situation and maybe your mindset right now. Okay, we have movement again. I got that on a previous reading. That's very interesting. And it kind of makes sense. Movement kind of flows with a situation that's difficult and maybe need to find a way to move forward, I feel. I have intuition. This is a beautiful card. This card speaks to trusting yourself, which I feel really fits with these energies. Trusting yourself maybe over somebody else. Let's grab... Oop. Okay, this card wants to come out for you. And fear. Okay. Yes. That really seems to speak to kind of what I was getting from the first three cards for you. So I'm feeling like you want to move forward, and I'm feeling the universe is saying trust your intuition in that situation, and the universe is saying do not trust your fear. Because fear misleads us, and fear locks us into positions that make us uncomfortable, and fear tricks us into thinking that we can't get through something. It tricks us into not seeing our own strength, and I tell you, with all the love in my heart, you are stronger than this. Whatever this represents for you, you're stronger than it. I promise you that. You will get through it. You will conquer it. It might take time, it might take tears, it might take work, but you will conquer it. And again, this stone is very strong for self-love and self-confidence. It will support you. It will support your heart and what you need to do. And absolutely, especially with intuition, the other thing with the movement card and the intuition card both is, actually all three of these speak to your heart. Movement speaks to the heart chakra with the color green. Fear comes from the heart, and this also has the color green. It's just a very dark tint. And then intuition is really about following your heart and your inner guide. So I'm definitely feeling that your heart is telling you something, and the universe, your higher self, wants you to follow that. This is a deck that I designed myself. I used black and white graphics to really have it speak directly to your subconscious mind. So as you look at the cards that come up for you, I want you to just pay attention to where your mind drifts. What comes up? What do you start to feel? Is there anything you suddenly think about that you weren't before? Do any ideas come to you? Those are coming from what these cards are telling your subconscious mind and what your subconscious mind is sending back out to you. So let's get a couple of cards for group 3 here. Let's see what we have for them. What can we tell them that will... What do we have? What do we have? These? Okay. Alright, so we have the Seven of Wands. This has got some chaotic energy to it. Nine of Cups, which is very orderly energy by comparison. And then we have the Death card, which, don't panic. This card speaks more than anything to change and transformation, which is a good thing. So let's go into what these cards mean for you. Okay, so from the Seven of Wands, I'm getting a couple of different things here. One thing that I'm getting is that there's a defensive stance. I feel like something came up possibly even unexpectedly, and you're kind of stuck in a position where you're now defending yourself against the energy that's come against you. Or it could also possibly be that maybe you're not even clear on what the situation is or what you want from the situation. And if we come back to maybe a possible either gender or sexuality thing going on for you, if that's the case, then you could be maybe even still exploring and still trying to understand where you actually fall in that. But while you're still trying to figure it out, maybe somebody has come at you and questioned how you appear to be or what their opinion of it is, or maybe something like that. I'm also seeing that maybe there's a lot of pressure on you surrounding whatever the situation is that brought you here today. So what the Nine of Cups is bringing to the table is a lot of really good energy. So the Nine of Cups is kind of your wish has come true type of card. This card is saying that there's contentment and satisfaction waiting out there for you. That is in the cards for you, to use a cliche saying. But yeah, that is absolutely in the cards for you. You will find that contentment, you will find that satisfaction. And even just with the order and flow of this card, it says whatever you might be confused about here, you're going to figure it out. And you will come to a place where you feel like things are sitting the way you want them to be, that things are kind of in order for you, that you understand things better than perhaps you do today. Alright, and let's talk about the Death card, because I know this is a card that tends to make people freak out a little bit at times, but I promise you, it is not, almost always when this card comes up for me, it's never a bad thing. And change absolutely can be scary, but that doesn't mean it's bad. So what I'm really feeling from this card today, and just to explain kind of the imagery here, you can see that we have a flower that's in the process of wilting and it's been dropping its leaves. And there's a really powerful message behind a flower that's in a state like this, because at first glance you might say, oh no, the flower's dying. However, we have an opportunity, and this is something we really see with the roses, and this was kind of a stylized rose. You can see the thorns on it. When caring for rose bushes, every now and then you have to prune them all the way back. You have to cut up all the past growth, and what will happen is, in very short order, you will get so much beautiful new growth out of that rose bush. It's really an amazing thing to see. I've had rose bushes at a few different places I lived, and it was always just kind of wonderful to see what would happen when you took a kind of gnarly, overgrown, past its prime rose bush, cut it all the way back basically to level with the ground almost, and the way that rose bush would look the next time, like the next season essentially, or later in the season, would be incredible. Completely fresh growth, all beautiful, bursting forth with roses, and usually more roses than it had before you cut it back. It really, when you take care of that and you cut that off, you prune away the old, you get such amazing, beautiful new growth from it. And I really feel like that's the message from this card for you, is to prune away the old things that are no longer serving you. Prune away the things that just don't need to be in your life, that you're just not feeling them anymore. Cut them out, let go of them, trim away the fat, and that'll give you the chance with this entire situation to move forward and grow into this incredible, beautiful future self of yours. And I don't think what I just heard is for every one of you, but I do feel like there are trans women listening that need to hear right now, you are beautiful. You are a beautiful woman. I don't care what anybody else on the planet says. You are absolutely a beautiful woman. So that message is very specific to some of you. And I hope that it makes it to you and that it is received. Because I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Okay, so next I want to get for you guys an animal spirit guide. So let's see what animal wants to come out and provide you with a message today. A beautiful message of moving forward, I hope. Finding your true self. Because I feel like this reading is largely about finding your true self. So what we have for you is the spider, and I always want to say grandmother spider because it just, that's the energy I always get around spider type things. Not necessarily actual spiders, they do scare me, but just spider artwork and drawings and just the kind of vibe. So what the spider is asking you to do is trust your creative spark and express it through writing stories that inspire and enlighten. And I feel like this might be a good outlet for you to really explore yourself. Writing, whether it's stories or poetry or whatever, even journaling, can be a really good outlet to explore all the facets of yourself. And I'm gonna say what we really want you to do is journal, write poetry, or even write stories if that's something you're called to do. And I think that will help to bring you clarity, is to write. You'll find your clarity that way. So I also have for you Keepers of the Light, and I want to bring out, oh, okay. Your guardian is really excited, so I want to bring out a guardian for you. Ooh, Odin. Beautiful. What Odin wants to say to us today is that your third eye is open, which is really interesting because psychic abilities and stuff like that really didn't come up in this reading, but I'm seeing intuition again. And as we saw before, intuition is definitely an important thing for you. So I'm going to say that you can see the truth, you can feel the truth, you do know your truth, and you just need to really open to it and really accept that you do know, because that I think is really tough, is really trusting what you know to be true and trusting that you get to make that decision. So that's super, super important. And last but certainly not least, I like to do a little fun and playful reading from a little book of catfulness. And what I'll do is just flip to a random page to get a message for you. Okay, so what we have is this rather grumpy guy over here in this box. And our quote is, "Your mind is your instrument. Learn to be its master and not its slave." And that's from, I'm probably going to butcher this, but Remez Sasson. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly, I'm not sure. And what I feel like this is telling you is you've been in your head a lot, and even I feel like this is speaking a lot to anxiety, kind of controlling you and maybe getting you down a bit. And this, from what I'm reading, it feels like you're in a situation that would certainly cause one to experience a lot of anxiety. So take some time and recognize that your anxiety is coming from your lizard brain. It's not actually based in reality. Anxiety is something that comes from us thinking about the past or the future. Anxiety doesn't come from right now. Anything that happens in the right now, our reaction would actually be like fight, flight, or freeze. So when we're having anxiety, that's always rooted either in the past or the future. And I'm feeling with our reading today that this is definitely a future anxiety for you. There's something on your mind that's really got you worried, that has you stressing out, that brought you here today. And recognize that that anxiety is based essentially in imagination. Because when we're thinking about the future, we're using our imagination because we don't know what that will be. So remember, anything that happens in your imagination isn't set in stone. it's not something that's come to pass, and it's something that likely doesn't come to pass, and it could, but if it does, the universe has your back. I hope that this reading resonated with you, and I hope you do find clarity and trust in yourself to help you to get through this situation and to really find that beautiful energy inside yourself, find that beautiful person that you know yourself to be and that I know you to be. So if this resonated for you, please let me know in the comments that you were in group 3, and thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time today, and I hope to see you back again.